I'm Ali from Mint Customs, former founding member of the Bike Shed, and I've been building bikes up in Hertfordshire with my buddy Simon, who unfortunately can't be here today. But our latest project has been this fabulous drag bike that you see before you. This is actually a semi-corporate build, and we're going to auction this bike off for the Noah's Ark Children's Hospice. Get back to that later, just to talk over the bike a little bit. Last year we were filming our own series on YouTube. We had a call from a buddy of Simon's saying that there was this drag bike and he wanted it built up and someone to run it, which we were like, okay, we're up for this. But unfortunately it fell through. So in the end, because it was still there and it still existed, Simon spoke to his boss and a former boss, so Drainworks and One Facility, which we've got their logos on here, and they have funded and supported this project. So with their help, we got hold of the bike, and it was an absolute dog. It was a 1990s drag bike. It had a high fuel TDM, Yamaha TDM 850 engine in it, which was just rotten and gone. The frame was disgusting and bits were missing. So in the end, we decided to basically start from scratch. We have kept the frame, which we've modified. We've stuck an Yamaha R1 2007 R1 engine in it, so we're looking at over 175 brake horsepower. The front end that was in it was really bad. A lot of our builds are Ducatis, so we've always got spare parts for them kicking around. So Ducati front end, which we had to have machined up, so Craig and his dad helped us out at our machining shop. The front tyre is actually, I know Bike Shed love a bit of Haslam going on. This is actually Liam Haslam's qualifying tyre, which we managed to acquire. So that was handy. But so we've got a front slick. Front end's all about stopping. It doesn't really do an awful lot in a drag race, but when it comes to the end, it's good to be able to stop. Moving further down, we then get to our massively water-cooled R1 engine. Now I point out the fact it's massively water-cooled. It's no massively water-cooled than any other R1, but subsequently, drag bikes generally don't run a cooling system. Now we hadn't built a drag bike before. This was a completely new project for both myself and Simon. So we just did what we're used to doing. And the motor is completely standard. We managed to pick up a 2007, like I mentioned, R1 engine. It's got standard everything, clutch, the works. So it's not as strong as some of these all-out drag bikes that you see up at Santa Pod. But we thought it's got plenty of power. We know the engines really well, it's reliable, so it should be a good one for this. So the frame was modified in order to get this engine in. So there are widened frame bars on it at the top, and obviously different lugs for the engine mounts. One of the other things that we kept is our air shift. So up at the front still, we have a button on the left-hand side. So this button, you literally press that, air shift kicks in, changes gear for you, because there's no foot changing when you're doing a drag race. Everything's over in a matter of seconds. This section in here, we've got a nice little canister here. The other side's got the dial and so on, but this canister is our air canister for the air shift. So we have to whack that up to about 130 psi in order for that to actually be active. We've also got HM quick shifter, helped us out, and we've got one of those in there, so it's literally full throttle, press the button, gear change happens, don't have to drop the throttle at all, pull in the clutch, everything happens in an instant. The front sprocket, seeing as we're at this point, down here, we're having a bit of a problem with this because of the motor alignment, and we've got a massive rear wheel. The chain sits out quite a way, so we've had a deeply penetrating weld done on a twin sprocket system so that we can just get out far enough. So there's actually two sprockets in one there. Another part from the original bike is this humongous rear fender. Obviously it needs to be big to cover the massive wheel. So this fender, the frame, although modified, and the air shift are all that remain from the original bike that came in. The rear wheel itself is actually a car drag wheel, and I think they call them Mickey Thompson, sure that's what we've got on here, the slick. We've had a hub machined up specifically to this wheel to fit this bike from our machine guys. We've done a fabulous job with that. And then we built our own wheelie bar. Now, it's quite a short wheelie bar when you look at the other drag bikes up at Santa Pod and so on, but we didn't touch it. Like I said, we've got a standard R1 engine here, so it didn't have the power to actually be able to lift up the front end, especially how low and long this bike is. So the wheelie bar actually didn't come into effect. If this engine had another 150, 200 horsepower, that would definitely be needed. But we didn't know at the time, so we built one anyway. Back to the tail of the bike, and we've got a sticker covering up our sponsors. Sorry about that one, Facility. This sticker gets placed on the back of the drag bikes at Santa Pod so that they can acknowledge what bike it is in the lane, give you your timing sheets. And we've popped our best times written on here. So it was the 29th of September, last Saturday, we were at Santa Pod, and we got 130 mile an hour top velocity speed and 11.08 second run, which for this bike, seeing as we started the day with a 13.5 second run, we're quite pleased getting it down to that. Simon was utterly gutted that he didn't get into the 10s.
I've broke the 11, have I? No, you're still so close.
But watch this space. Tom, he's a master welder, especially when it comes to making weird directions and shapes. So we needed something for this, but we didn't want any exhaust system that was too intrusive. The one that was on it from the previous bike came right down the sides and actually sat lower than the rails, so it would just hit the ground incessantly, and this thing's low enough. So we knew we wanted something with a bit of clearance. You don't need to run silencers at Santa Pod, so we've literally just come straight out the headers to this little selection of 4 exits here. And when we don't warn someone on the startup of this, they generally let out a little squeal, sometimes a little bit of wee as well. So in addition to the exhaust being made by Tom at Gassaville Hot Rod Shop, he also welded up our fuel tank for us, our fuel cell. Simon cut it all out, did all the measurements, put it into place, tacked it up, and then sent it round to him to get done. Tucks in there really nicely, and as you can see, we've got our Noah's Ark Children's Hospice building the Ark sticker in there, just to let everyone know what this is all about. So that's the charity that's going to benefit from the auction of this bike. So now let's take this outside and let you hear what it sounds like. And I apologise in advance to Dan for breaking his mic. Okay, so we've brought it outside to start up for you. London's quite a noisy place, but it's about to get a little bit noisier. Okay, so as mentioned at the beginning, this bike has been built to be auctioned off for Noah's Ark Children Charity. We don't know exactly when we're going to do it yet, but we are going to keep you all posted once we've worked that out. Our social media and hopefully bike sheds as well will show you. There should be links popping up at your screen, I don't know, all around me somewhere, linking you to our Facebook page, our Instagram page, where we'll keep you updated, and also keep an eye on the new season of Mint Customs over at PARRY Brothers on YouTube.